Good evening and welcome to another edition of Quiz Your Biz. I'm going to hopefully just jump straight into it today. This is a new phone, so I'm hoping it's all working okay and it's all gone on live alright, but it might have a few teething problems, so hopefully it all works absolutely fine. Hello and welcome to Quiz Your Biz, the bi-weekly show where we interview people to find out about their business and experiences, for top tips and inspiration on running your own business and to learn about topics of interest. Have a listen today while I interview Jodie Philpotts from Go Go Glamorous about her business. To view any previous episodes, or to listen to the podcast, visit quizyourbiz.com or visit Quiz Your Biz on your podcast app. So I'm going to try and get Jodie on straight away today, if we can get her straight in her. And I can see her, but it's not letting me add her. Jodie, if you can please try and do it so it invites you onto there from your side, that would be great. If you can hear me okay. In the meantime, I will get sharing this out. Again, providing it works, we may have some technical issues. So Jodie, I'm still trying to get you on from this side. I've got the choice to add some other people, but not you. I can see you're on, but I can't add you from my side. So Jodie, if you can add yourself, that will be great. Okay, still not coming up with any notifications, Jodie. If you can try and add yourself from your side, that would be great. If anyone can let me know if my sound's working. So it's a new phone, so I want to make sure my headset is plugged in right. If sound wasn't working before, hopefully that is okay. Jodie, let me know how you're getting on your end. Is it working, or are we going to have to reschedule possibly? I know we both had quite a day, and I can see you're typing away in the background to me now as well, so this might have to be rescheduled if we are struggling. No option to add, trying on phone. Okay, Jodie's trying on phone now. Hopefully that may be a little bit better, so we'll try and get her. Thanks, Carlos, appreciate that, mate. It's good to know that it is working. For anyone that saw the last episode, I was very, very blurry. I managed to get some water on my phone. I thought the water resistant symbol on my phone meant it was waterproof, so I thought I'd take it scuba diving to test that, and that definitely didn't work. So do not take your phone scuba diving. Jodie is working now, so I can approve she's coming on camera now. Jodie straight away now. Fingers crossed, here we go, and she should be there. Hey.
Hello! I'm about to get you on the phone. This is like the worst angle ever. Hold on. So I've got 10 chins on this angle. This isn't good. Hello!
Hey, how you doing?
I'm really good. I was trying to do it on the laptop. I thought that's going to be far easier, but apparently not.
Yeah, I think for some reason they work better on mobiles than laptops. I think some people get them to work and others don't. So we'll see how it goes. If anyone's watching this from the business groups and could possibly share it out to the regular groups, so the DLBN, the 4N, that would be great. If not, I will share it after. As I know, Jodie and myself are both fairly pushed on time this evening, with other clients waiting to speak to us, each of us individually afterwards.
Yeah, not together. That would be weird.
That would be a bit weird. Please explain who you are and what you do, please, Jodie.
Okay, so I'm Jodie from Go Go Glamorous. For some reason, I'm getting messages on my phone. I'm Jodie from Go Go Glamorous. So I've got two businesses. The first one is self-explanatory. I run a beauty, health and wellness business. So that ranges from treating individuals with all sorts of beauty treatments, waxing, nails, massage, all the lovely things. I also go out to businesses, so I treat members of staff. So if they want, if they want to be pampered, if they deserve to be pampered. So if you've got good members of staff and you want to treat them, that's what I do. But part of that, I brought the cashback loyalty program into my business, and I'm now doing a lot of working with small businesses, bringing that into their business. So there's two things.
Good stuff. So I know where you're from, but because this goes out all over the country, can you let other people know what kind of area you cover for each of those?
Yeah, so The beauty business, I'm very location based. So I'm in Kimber, which is in South Staffs, West Midlands way. So for that, people come to me mainly. If I'm going out to businesses, then it all depends on the amount of work. Obviously, if I'm going to be out for 2 or 3 days, then the further I'll travel. Obviously, there's
Sure.
no, you know, if it's just half a day's work, then I'm not going to obviously travel like 3 hours down the road. It just wouldn't make sense for me or the business. For me, it would be fine because I would just charge all that time. But for a business, it would be ridiculous, obviously. So,
Yeah.
in terms of the cashback solution stuff I do, that is nationwide. I've got people registered with myself who live all over the country, and it's actually international, so I can speak to businesses in 50 countries. So everywhere.
Okay, great. So for the cashback stuff, anyone anywhere in the country, if they want to, we'll talk about it a bit more in a minute, but anyone that's
Yeah.
anywhere,
Basically, yeah.
you can help.
If you're in one of the 50 countries that we operate in, then that's it. Yeah.
That's a pretty wide coverage, right?
It's massive. I'm currently tomorrow. I'll be speaking to a lady in Knoxville in the United States. So
Wow.
you know.
Nice. Jodie, tell us one interesting fact about yourself that not many people know.
Okay, so probably I don't think many people would know, but I absolutely love singing, and I've been in a couple of local shows. So I'm a bit of a drama queen, as anyone who knows me would know.
Are you doing anything for Christmas performance-wise?
I'm not, unfortunately. Christmas performances are hell, to be honest, for me, because I've got my son's birthday, Rocco, who will be for the 9th of December. Obviously, 2 kids on my own, so Christmas is manic. And shows involve so much work. So in the run-up to any show, you're rehearsing 2 nights a week for about 3 hours a night. Then you have a tech week, which is about a week of at least 4 or 5 full-on nights, weekends and everything. And then for a pantomime, you have at least a week of shows with 2 matinees in that as well. So being a single parent running a business, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah.
So
No,
and
absolutely. That's.
I'm not really much of a pantomime type of person either. Like I like going to watch them, but I don't really like doing the whole cheese thing myself. They'll kill me for saying that. There's a lot of dancing and stuff in pantomimes and being like really like and I hate dancing on stage. I hate it with a passion. So
Okay. You prefer to do the singing side, yeah?
Yeah, singing. I absolutely love singing.
Yeah. Okay, I guess that kind of leads us on to why did you start your business?
Okay, so my business, I actually ran a business when my daughter was about 6 months old. So I started a mobile beauty business then, and it was because I got made redundant. I'd worked for local government for years, had like a really, reliable, steady job, and got made redundant. So that was when I retrained in beauty all those years ago. Had a number of reasons why at the time it didn't work and had to give it up. And then had my son. And then from about the age of him being 6 months till about January, really, I ended up really poorly. So I was really quite poorly. Like my mental health was just absolutely on the floor, and I had to have a lot of time out. And it got to the point though in January I was so poorly I ended up in hospital. And at that point, I can remember it was Christmas Eve. I was in hospital, couldn't see the kids for Christmas Day, and I just was like, this has to change. And that's when I decided what I was going to start doing, and I decided to go back to beauty. So I loved doing it, and that's what got me back into it, really. So I decided to set a business up because I didn't want to work for anyone else. The beauty industry is very female orientated. And with that, unfortunately, in some salons you get, quite a lot of silly behaviour, let's say. And that's just not for me. I just like to work on my own, do things my own way, and that's why I set the business up. And that's what I've done with it, really. Everything is the way I want to do it. If I don't want to do a treatment because I don't like it, I don't do it. It's as simple as that. So I couldn't do that if I worked in a shop. If I worked in a shop, I would have to do treatments that I don't like doing. Whereas I don't. I don't do them. So.
What treatments don't you like doing? I'm curious.
Okay, so it's just stupid things really, but it's mainly from a financial aspect. So I hate doing nail extensions because unfortunately what happened in this country was you used to pay like a really good price to have nail extensions because they're a lot of work. To buy products is really expensive. And then unfortunately we had quite a lot of shops open up that use a different type of product. And also we had a lot of people who, you know, they've done a 1-day nail course with their auntie or whatever. So all of a sudden they know all about nails and are absolutely qualified to do a set of nails for a tenner. So you can't, you know, I wasn't prepared to compete with that sort of thing. And nails, you know, to do a set of really nice nails, it takes a long time. It takes a lot of skill before you even do your first customer to even get to the point where you can do like good nail extensions. So it's a lot of work, a lot of money. And for me, it's just one of those things where it just wasn't worth the money or the time. So I don't do them.
No, makes sense. And why did you start the cashback stuff?
Okay, so the cashback stuff for me was because obviously in my house there's only me who's earning an income. So if ever I have to take any time off, taking time off from a beauty business where there's only me who's working means that I don't get paid at all.
Yeah.
The cashback stuff for me was originally I just bought into the business as a business solution so that long term what it does for the business is that when I've got my loyal customers and all the other people who end up being referred on to the cashback program shopping, it will bring me a residual income into the business of about 30 grand a year. So that's it's based on people shopping. So it's not like you're asking people to do anything different. It is literally just based on people shopping. So that for me was major. Obviously that doesn't happen overnight. You hear all these stories of promises of, you know, in all honesty, that's not going to happen over the next few months. It's going to take time for that to happen. But I'm not going anywhere, so that's fine. That can just carry on building in the background. But then what happened was because I could see the benefits of it and how it worked, I just looked into it more and learned more. And I ended up flying over to Poland to go to a massive conference that they were having, and could just see that for me, actually, this could be something even bigger. And I just decided to give it a go. And from there, it's just flew for me. Absolutely, you know, flew. And it has actually taken over what I was doing with the beauty stuff. So now my beauty business is great and I love it. But whereas before, if somebody cancelled a big appointment, it was a big deal. It's not so much now because I've got this other thing working alongside.
So you make more from the cashback stuff than you do from your entire other business?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you just started that 4 months ago, you say?
About 4 months ago. Yeah. About 4 months. And it's mental because well, we spoke obviously before I ever did any networking, didn't we? I always bring this up. And and I, to picture me going into businesses and talking to business owners and chatting about why something is so good for their business and what it can do, how it works, and the benefits and all of that, I would just never have done in a month of Sundays, to be honest. The thought of even just going to networking was like, I'm sure you remember me going, I'm not a businessy person. I can't do that.
and that was less than a year ago, wasn't it? That
yeah,
you'd never
absolutely.
been to a network meeting, and
I've never even heard of networking.
Yeah.
It was mental. So yeah, so for me to now actually approach businesses and do that, it's been a massive learning curve. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been days when I've gone, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, what, am I mental? Like, this feels so much like so out of my comfort zone, not pressured, but out of my comfort zone, because it wasn't something I've ever done. Obviously, working for local government, I worked with obviously people every day, but it's a whole other ball game to a business. It's just a whole other arena. So yeah, it was it pushed me out of my comfort zone, but in a really good way. So yeah, I'm going to Germany in June with them, and I'll be on the
Nice.
stage. I'll be on the stage,
Wow.
which is really
That's amazing.
nice.
So that was like 18 months between when you started networking to being on the stage in Germany for this other company.
Yeah, it's mental. And I told you, obviously, we had a little chat the other day, didn't we? And I said to you as well about,
Mm.
I've just been approached by the Federation of Holistic Therapies to do a speech, and I was like me? Why did they want me to do a speech? And it was all good until I found out it was for an hour and a half.
How are you getting on with that?
Why would you want to listen to me for an hour and a half? I think, I think the plan is this: bit of talking, activity, bit more talking, activity, bit more talking, activity. I think it's the only way, because like I'm not sure why anyone would want to listen to anyone just babble on for an hour and a half.
It's a long time. Even like a really good film, it's an hour and a half's a long time.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I fall asleep during films, so if I had to just listen to me for an hour and a half, I'd definitely be out of the count.
Jodie, why should somebody use your cashback stuff rather than, or the cashback thing you're with, rather than the other one? Because I know there's different ones out there, and then there's like utility warehouse type stuff, and there's
Yeah,
other ones around.
I think the difference is it's not based on a product, so you don't have to buy anything. Like I could give you a cashback card today,
Mhm.
and it will be free. Like it's as simple as that. So as a customer, I could give you a card. You could jolly on down to TK Maxx or to Tesco or Argos, do your shopping, and for you as a customer, it's free. You don't have to buy anything. In terms of the business, you're on an international marketing app permanently. You're sitting next to the likes of people like Tesco and Argos. And it's a way to encourage people to come to you. So for myself, obviously, I'm now part of this. So if I'm looking to spend money, I want to keep it within the cashback plan that I'm part of, obviously.
Sure.
So and that goes business wise as well. If I've got like a whole heap of money to spend with somebody on, I don't know, say branding or whatever, am I going to go and spend 500 quid down the road, or am I going to go to the person who I know I'm going to get cash back and shopping points with?
Yeah.
It's the same as like how people like would go to Boots because they're getting their Boots points or whatever. It's the same sort of thing. But the fact is, I can go and get off the plane in Poland, in Spain, or wherever, and carry on earning cash back, and so can everybody else. So it's just really simple. So we've got
But,
so many shops. It's
yeah.
just easy.
Yeah, that sounds good. But surely you must be spending millions to get like £30,000 a year. You must be spending like, so that's your cashback, or is that from?
Yeah, but that's not me spending millions. So the way
Okay.
that I know I'm doing well, but Jesus Christ, still trying to get forward focus. So it's obviously it's on volumes.
Mhm.
For a business to get around 30k in, it would have 1,000 shoppers spending approximately 500 quid a month. So 500 quid a month is like your food bill and maybe your petrol,
Yeah.
for most people. So that's without you doing any Christmas shopping, clothes shopping, or anything like that. So you can see how very easily, because when people go, I don't shop, and you go, really? Because where do you do food shopping?
You don't eat
So
either. You don't drive. Yeah, makes sense.
So everybody has to shop, and that's what makes it so great. Because I've never been somebody who wants to go and sell products to people. It just makes me feel sick. I can't do it. I'm terrible. But
Sure.
because it's not product based, it literally is based on people shopping. So as a business, you give them your loyalty card, which is fully branded to you. So
Mhm.
first of all, your branding is sitting in their wallet day in, day out. So they're seeing it every time they open their wallet. When they
Nice.
get it out and they're paying, what very often happens is the cashiers, because it's not familiar to everybody at the moment, so people will be shopping with it, and the cashier, oh, what's that? What's that? So again, that's your branding in front of somebody else again and again and again. And so so it's in terms of the shopping element of it, that's where the money comes from like the 30k into the business. But I work as a
Mm.
marketer for them as well, so that's where my other income's coming from at the moment. There's like 3 areas to the business. There's being a shopper, there's being
Sure.
a marketer, and there's being just having it as a loyalty program in your business.
Yeah. Do you have your card with you? You can see.
Oh my God, I haven't got my handbag.
So I put you on the spot now, haven't I?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I actually don't. Actually, my cards for my business are currently being printed, but
Right.
I can show you. God, I'm in my hall and everything's gone dark. Thanks. Hold on, just come on a little trip with me. 1 second. So, there we go, you're back. So here's my lovely Minnie Mouse purse.
Very nice.
Open my purse and there's a shopping card.
There we go.
So this one is for Snazzle Gifts, which is the lovely Lauren Brown.
Yeah.
Now, what she did do, this is like one of her older cards. She no longer uses business cards. So what she does is, all on her new cards, all her contact details are on there. So she never gives a normal business card out. She always gives those out. And there's, that's a business card that's going to earn you money, not just get chucked on somebody's CRM and thrown in the bin.
Yeah.
So
if people are using it, then it's going to be present. It's going to be
absolutely. And the thing is, say I gave you one of these, I could give you one of these cards, and I could be really nice and send you over like a £5 Costa voucher or £5 Tesco voucher. So what we tend, like a lot of businesses will use them as gifts for their staff or customers and things like that as well. So,
nice. Okay. So do you need to dash off in 5 minutes? Am I thinking right? Or is that...
I'm all right for a few minutes.
Okay, great. So can you tell me about a customer journey and how you help them get from one point to where they are now?
Okay, so we've got, like, obviously, with the cashback stuff, you've got people want to achieve different things. Like for me, I saw what was available and I wanted to do as much as possible. But you've got other people who just want to work it for their business. So I'm currently working with a business at the moment. And I'm actually working with a couple of businesses, but the main one I sort of want to talk to about is I'm not going to name it, obviously, but I'm working with a cafe at the moment. And although obviously they've already, that it's a well-established cafe, they've got a lot of customers. So actually, they don't need to attract new customers. So it can do different things for different people. But for them, it was more about, for them, they could obviously use the program to bring the income into the business. But then on top of that, it was about, they'd be the first business on that high street with that loyalty program. So then obviously, as more businesses come on board, that's more shoppers that are obviously going to just keep coming back to them and coming back to them and coming back to them. So that's kind of the sort of thing we do. Like, obviously, that's with a cafe. And like I say, they're so well established. Their food is amazing. I eat in there all the time, which doesn't help the diet. It's ridiculous. Their food is so good. So like I say, for them, it wasn't about attracting new customers because they get them all the time. It was just about bringing in the residual income so that, at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to work in the cafe forever and ever and ever. But if they sold that cafe, if they shut it, if they did whatever they wanted to do with it when they get to an age where they don't want to carry on, those shoppers are still all attached to that person. So even when they carry on shopping, that income is still coming to you. So even if they get rid of the cafe, they've still got a long-term income that's going to come in, and it's inheritable as well. So it can be willed. So if something happens to the person who's already got it, it goes down to the next.
It doesn't stop. Yeah.
No, it doesn't stop. So for them, it was just about starting something that when they get to a point, it's really hard work running a cafe, So when they get to a point where they can't do it, even if they sell the business, they've still got something coming in that they started through their business.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
Sounds good to me. Jodie, what does success mean to you?
Okay. So success for me is like I'm not a flash person. I'm not the holidays, cars, and all this. Like I see like a lot of people's pictures on beaches and all that, and I think it's lovely. And don't get me wrong, I've started to get a little bit of a travel bug now because I've done it a little bit more lately.
Sure.
So
with Poland
yeah.
and Germany coming up, right?
Well, I did this year. I've done Disneyland Paris and Poland. That's, I hadn't been on a plane in 9 years,
Well,
so that was a big deal. That was life changing for me. But success for me, I've got a board in the kitchen where I ask my children. Now, Mummy's working really hard on the business, and they understand because we talk about it all the time. And and I'll say, "What is it that you want?" So they didn't write anything materialistic, apart from I think my daughter put a double bed.
the priorities, right
Bed,
there.
yeah. But generally, it was all things like a day out to Dinosaur Land or a day out to Cadbury's World, family holidays, things like that. So that for me, success is the fact that I can actually earn money, obviously, to be able to pay for those, but actually be visible and be able to do it with them, and that it's not just a case of on work, and then can never have the time to spend with them or do things. Ultimately for me, I was been quite ill in October, unfortunately, and I had to take some time off. And then it was half term. Now, in the past, I would have absolutely punished myself and been like, no, it's half term, so I'll spend it with the kids, and then I'll put them to bed and I'll work. But I didn't, because for me, being well enough to be able to enjoy time with them and switch my phone off and things like that, and actually just enjoy days out, that to me is success, because it's took me a long time to get to that point. Like I say, 2.5 years of just, getting up on a morning and getting the kids to school was difficult, beyond difficult. So now to actually have that time and be able to enjoy it with them, that's just everything to me. And I'll end up, I cried in Poland over all this. It was ridiculous. I cried all the time, because it's taken such a long time to get to that point. So yeah, as much as it's nice to have nice cars and things like that, I actually joke about stuff like that all the time and say, look, if I had a nice car, it just means it's more expensive when I reverse it into something. So I'm better off having a nice day out.
Yeah, I mean, and the experiences are things that you're going to remember, and they're going to remember growing up on. They're not going to care what car you drove when they were younger.
No.
They are going to remember if you went to Dinosaur Land and saw a really cool dinosaur, right?
Yeah. Although my son has requested a Ferrari, so that is the target. If your son
Good taste.
If your son requests a green Ferrari, you've kind of got to do it, haven't you?
Well, for him or for you?
Oh, I'd have a pink one. He can have the green one.
That sounds like a plan. Jodie, what advice would you give yourself when you started out? I know it hasn't been that long ago, so what would you tell yourself?
It hasn't been that long, but I've already learned a massive lesson. And so, this is why when I've taken time off this month, I've actually taken time off and I've not beaten myself up about it. So previously to that, the thing I was doing was, somebody sent me a message at 11 o'clock at night. I'd clearly got to respond at 11 o'clock. Somebody sent me a message at 7, I'd got to respond. And I was just continually on my phone, and it was like, I'll just reply to this. I'll just reply to that. I'll just reply to that. I'd put the kids to bed. I'd be on it. I'd be on my laptop. It'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning. Whereas now, I get probably far more messages because, I'm not sure it was a mistake. Well, it wasn't a mistake, but for example, I changed on my LinkedIn the other day my information, which apparently causes everyone to think you've had a promotion. So,
Yes, yeah, I got that every time.
I wasn't aware of this, so I changed it at 11 o'clock at night and woke up to about 200 congratulations on my promotion messages.
Nice.
So, yeah, in the past, what I would have done was like, oh my God, I've got to reply to all these now. I've got to do it whereas I've started doing this thing now where I'll reply when I'm working. If I'm choosing that that's not a work time, I don't reply, and I do this. I don't just put my phone face down. So if I'm not seeing it, if I don't want to see it, then I won't see it. And I used to do the thing where you'd have the Facebook messaging come through and you'd know it was work related. So I'd always open it and reply. Like I say, now I would leave it unopened and it stays there until it's a work day. So look, and I always used to be so apologetic and explain. I'd always be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's because of this. Whereas now my standard response is just, thanks for bearing with me. And that's it. I don't feel bad about not responding instantly, which is like when I first set up the business, I felt like I had to respond instantly. And I had to do all these stupid hours that people wanted because they'd left, you know, they've got an event that they've had in their diary for 2 months, but they've messaged me like the day before because they've got to have enough, you know. I used to panic about stuff like that, whereas I don't now. It's just, you know, if you want to go to another beautician, go to another beautician.
So have you found that that's lost you business? Because I know for a lot of small businesses, some that might be watching, they are very conscious, especially at the beginning, that if you're not available and you're not as ready to jump as high as the customer asks, they might go somewhere else.
I don't feel it's lost me any business. I've still got the same clients coming to me who were before. It's just that it works better for me now in the fact that, you know, I'm not doing one person here, one person there, somebody like a ridiculous time at night. I am working tonight, but I've chose to work tonight. So that's fine. Whereas I was working nearly every night just because people couldn't organise their own diaries to book in advance. So I haven't found it's lost me any business. But in all honesty, if it did, they're not the clients I want. I don't want clients who think it's okay to message me at 7 o'clock in the morning demanding an appointment for that night. You know, that's not the sort of, because that's not how I run my business. You know, if you want an appointment, book an appointment and I'll happily see you and you'll get the best treatment you're ever going to have. But I'm also not going to just sort of be running around like an absolute nutter and having no life. I felt like in the early days what I would do was I'd say take my daughter to dancing or wherever, get home and feel like I was throwing the kids in bed, you know, missing all that nice time with them because I'd have a client coming in because they'd left it till the last minute. And it's kind of like, actually, I didn't set my business up to throw my kids in bed. I set the business up so that I could be there and I could read the bedtime story. I could chat about what's made them happy that day. Not, oh, come on, because I've got so-and-so coming, you know. So I just don't do it anymore. And I think that's the thing really is looking at your work diary, looking at your phone and how you operate all of that. Actually, the phone thing was a lovely Mike Gardner, the Time Doctor. He was the thing about the phone. He actually tells you to get 2 phones, but I sat and watched his foresight, and I could have cried watching it, in all honesty, because I was watching it going, actually, that's what I'm doing. And it was from that day I made a conscious effort. And it's not perfect, don't get me wrong. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. It's a lot better. Yeah. So, that is the advice, absolute advice.
Yeah. I know time's getting on. Have you got time to go your top 3 tips around working from home?
Work from home. Okay. So first one is absolutely try and create yourself a work area. Because what I found from being at home was sometimes it's very easy to be distracted if you're not in like a work zone. So I found I could, you know, I'll just put the washing in. I'll just tidy this up. I'll just tidy that. Now, if I was in an office, I wouldn't be able to just put the washing in. So why is working from home any different? You've still got to get the work done. The second one, pick your hours to suit you. You know, you've set up a business because you want to work for yourself. So why work the normal hours if that's not what fits with your life? So, you know, what night was it? Monday night, I hadn't got anything done what I wanted to do in the day because I've not worked. I'd gone out, I'd had a nice time. So I actually chose to work Monday evening, sat on the laptop, got all, you know, stuff done I needed to do. But that's because that's what I wanted to do. I wouldn't do that every night. But yeah, pick the hours that suit you, because it's madness me trying to work evenings at, say, 8 o'clock at night if I'm not getting in the door till 20 to 8 and then having to get the kids to bed. So that's the one. And the third one.
I mean, you might have already covered it in your last comments, to be honest, because I know you have some really good tips there. And that.
No, the third one is absolutely don't do the jobs you hate because you won't do them. So I don't do accounts or bookkeeping because one, I'm crap at it, and two, I hate it. So
Yeah.
get somebody else to do the stuff you hate. And that's it, I think.
Fantastic tips. Thank you very much. I'll run through the comments very quickly. Everyone says you're doing.
Comments.
Ricardo says, "Go go Jodie." Ben Kelly said, "Amazing." She's doing amazing. Ricardo said, "We're an amazing team." Ben Kelly said, "Even Tesco's are on the cashback solutions."
They are.
They are. Ben Kelly said, "You look amazing, Jodie."
Oh, I love Ben.
Yeah. Claire Oxford said the Chinese ones. I'm guessing she may be talking about nail extensions. I'm not sure. She might be talking about something else. I'm not sure. And that is all the comments. Duncan said Jodie rocks.
Oh, I love Duncan.
Yeah. Okay, so that is all the questions I have from my side. Anything else you want to add, or any promotions that you've got coming up in the very near future people take advantage of?
So basically, if the main thing is, if anybody wants a free cashback card, obviously, to just drop me a line and I can send you one as a customer.
Can you stick a link somewhere?
Yeah, I can drop a link. I will drop the link as quickly as I can.
Or is it best for people to talk to you?
No, they can do either. I can drop a link in later on. I'll just need to treat my client first, or they might fall out with me. And then
cool. Are they waiting for you right now?
Possibly.
Yeah. Have you got them? They're locked in the back room.
Yeah, I've just chained them up. It's fine. I've shoved them in the cupboard and told them to be quiet.
Well played. Well managed.
He's getting cash back. What more does he want?
Hell yeah. So yeah, cashback wise, they send you a message, or you're going to drop a link in a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. And then
beauty treatments.
Beauty treatments, again, just get in touch with me because I'm not sure many people are going to want to put on there that they need a bum wax or anything like that. So.
Good shout. But again, that's fairly close to Kinva, right?
Kimber, we're in Kimber. Yeah, Kimber. So, I mean, I do have people travel to me. So, like, sometimes if people are coming for, like, networking meetings in the area, they'll come round, because obviously they've got that familiarity. And especially, like, a lot of male clients, because it's so difficult for male clients to get treated in a lot of places. So, because obviously they know me through Foren, and there's that, they'll obviously, it's just a lot easier. So, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Great. Well, we'll wrap it up there. But yeah, thank you, Jodie, again for joining me on this edition of Quiziviz. Tune in next time on Friday, where Reese will be interviewing Simon Scholes, I believe, Friday at 12:30. But for all editions so far of Quiziviz, go to quiziviz.com or search for Quiziviz on your podcast app. Cool. Thanks, Jodie, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.